Hello everyone, in today's video I'll be talking about another type of reading question, which is about the matching heading question. Some of the most common questions that you will find when you sit on the reading test. So let's get started. So this is the example of matching heading question. It will start with this instruction: just choose the correct heading for paragraph A and C to H from the list of headings below. So you will be provided with a list of headings like this, and beneath it there are some questions. And if you notice, the headings here, there are 11 headings, while the question are only 7, which means that you are not going to use all the headings provided here. And you can also see that there is an example that has been done for you in this questions. We have an example for paragraph B, which means you don't have to find a heading for this particular paragraph. The strategies that I can give you about this particular question, the first thing that you should be doing is to go straight to the question. This one, for example, number 1, paragraph A, so you can just go straight to see paragraph A and then you go immediately to paragraph A to find the heading. So you don't have to spend a lot of time to try to review some of the heading here, because I think it will waste so much time by doing so. So go straight to the question, and then once you go to the paragraph, you read the paragraph, try to read especially maybe the first sentence and some of the detail, try to read it quickly to find the main idea, and then try to make your summary about that particular paragraph, like the main point that you understand, and then try to compare it with the headings which are provided here. So that's some of the brief strategies that I can tell you about how to answer this question. So let's try to answer the question together to give you the clearer idea about what I meant before. So let's start with question number 1, paragraph A. So as I mentioned here, paragraph A, let's go straight to the paragraph. So you need to find the main idea or the main point of that paragraph. And usually it comes in the first
sentence. So the history of human civilization is entwined with the history of the ways we have learned to manipulate water sources. And strongly expanded water was from increasingly more sources.
If you pay attention with the main point of this paragraph, in the first sentence in this paragraph, it talks about human civilizations, talk about history, and then in the next paragraph, which are the supporting sentences, in the next sentences, which are the supporting sentences, it discuss about war, and then it talk about the supply of water or the occupants of Rome, and also the supply of water in industrial world today. So I think it mentioned about sort of like history, water supply, and those kind of things. So I think that's sort of the main point that we can get from this paragraph. So try to make that summary whatever you like it. You can do it in Bahasa Indonesia as well, and then try to compare with all of the heading provided. Let's compare one by one. If we go to question number 1, scientists called for a revision of policy. I don't think there is an explanation about scientists, an explanation of reduced water use. There is an explanation of water use, but I don't think there is an explanation of specifically about reduced water use. So I'll try to eliminate this option as well. Global challenge. It has been an example for paragraph B, so we can skip this one. Irrigation system fall into disuse. I don't think there's an example or description about irrigation system. Environmental effect, not really that much an explanation about this. The financial cost, I don't think as well. Relevant to health, not really. It's not really about health. If you remember, it describes about the supply of water, talk about like history, civilization, and all those kind of things. Addressing the concern over increasing population, not so much. And then a surprising downward trend in the demand of water. It talk about water, but I don't think it talk about the downward trend of water. And then the other option, the need to raise the standard. I don't think there's an explanation about raising the standard. And then 11, number 11, a description of ancient water supply. This I think may be the answer, because if you remember again, it talk about history, civilization, water supply of water resources. So I think this may be the closest one. So I will choose this one. So I think this might be the best answer. So paragraph A would be 11. And if you're not sure about the answer, you don't have, by the way, to rush your answer. If you're not sure about the answer, I think you can always go back to the paragraph. You can always go back to the paragraph A. If you're not sure about this one, since I don't have any possible answers, since the other heading are not really related with what we just read and understood about the previous about paragraph A. So if you want to make sure that this is the answer, so you can go back to this paragraph if it is related to the description of ancient water supply. And if you go back, yeah, it talk about history of human civilizations, with the sort of the ways we have learned to manipulate water resources. I think there are some keyword in here, like a description of ancient water supply. So it talk about the supply of water, supply the water, and also it sort of talk about the description of ancient water supply, because it specifically talk about the description of water supply or water use that happened at the Roman Empire in Rome. So I think that's probably the strong point why 11, the description of ancient water supply, is the correct option for paragraph A. So let's continue with the next one, paragraph C. Go to the paragraph immediately, paragraph C. Paragraph C, yet there is a dark side to this picture.
Progress, half of the world's population still suffers, with water surfaces inferior to those available to the ancient Greeks and Romans.
If we pay attention quite closely to this sentence, I think it talks about how the world population, half of the world population specifically, suffer. So there is a progress, but how half of the world population suffer related to the water surfaces. And then we see the detail of the rest of the sentences. So we talk about the problem in detail. So there is this: people are suffer, half of the world population suffer. It talk about the water surfaces. People have lack access to clean drinking water, and it talk about some of the water-related diseases. So I think some of the main point that I can get for this paragraph is about like people are suffering. There is some water-related disease and some problem with the access of water, and so and so on and so forth. So those kind of problems. So let's try to go back with considering some of the points that I just mentioned to the heading to compare which one is the best one, which one would be the right fit for paragraph C. Scientists call for a revision of policy. I don't think there is an explanation about scientists, especially for reduced water use. This maybe we can try to keep it, because it talk about water use as well, like reduce. There is a lack access of water. How a global challenge was met. I don't think this is the case for paragraph C. Irrigation system, no. Environmental effect. Does it talk about environment? I don't think so. The financial cost, no. Relevance to health, I think it mentioned about the water related diseases. We talk about diseases, so I think that is closely associated with health, so we're gonna keep this answer as well. And then number 2, we also keep this one. And then addressing the concern over increasing population, I think it mentioned about population, we can also keep it here. Suppressing downward trend in demand for water, I don't think it's talk about the trend that is decreasing. They need to raise standard. I don't think so. So we have these 3 possible answer: an explanation for reduced water use, and then the relevance to health, and then addressing the concern over increasing populations. Yeah, if we in this case we are still not sure which one would be the best answer, we can go back to the paragraph quickly and try to read it to compare which one is the closest one. If we go back to the C, yeah, para sentence one, it describes, it discusses about half of the world population suffer. So the world are suffering regarding the water surfaces, and also there is a lack access to clean water. So people are suffering lack access of clean water, and there is a problem of water related disease that kill thousands of children. So yeah, about diseases, people have problem like access related to the access of water, and then half of the world population suffer. If we compare with this one, an explanation for reduced water use relevant to health and addressing the concern of increasing populations, I would say I think the best one should be 7, the relevance to health, because it specifically discuss about some of the problem that happen related to the water surfaces that is explained in paragraph C. And then there is like problem related disease that is very closely related to health. So I think this would be the best answer, because explanation for reduced water use, there is an explanation of water use but not specifically about the reduction of water use, because people have problem with the lack of water and the access of water, but there's no any explanation about why that's happened. So there is no, this is not the case for paragraph C. So we'll just eliminate this one as well. And 7, addressing concern over increasing population. It mentioned about the word populations, but I don't think it specifically discusses about the concern of this increasing population. Because what I understand, the population is mentioned, but the population that is mentioned in paragraph C, it discusses about the half of the world population that suffer. That's why this might not be the best answer for this question. That's why paragraph C, I would say is 7. Is 7. So yeah, I think that's pretty much the example of how to do this question. I hope this kind of practice could give you an idea about how you do this question. You can do the same strategy for the rest of the questions for this matching heading question. So I guess that's pretty much it for today's video. I will see you in the next video to talk about other topic of the IELTS. That's all for now, and see you next time.